Right, so I've got the Logos home screen up here. This is what you'll find whenever you open up Logos for the first time. You'll want to click this Open Search Panel button with the eyeglass here. And when you do, it'll open a search panel. Notice up here all these different options. Bible search is just going to search Bible text, usually in English. You can type in Greek or Hebrew if you enter this here. Basic search will search anything in your library. Media will search your media library. Clause, this is a little more complicated, and it uses certain databases, so you don't need to worry about this. Syntax, again, kind of complicated, but what you want is morph search because you're looking for specific morphological data. You're looking for verbal mood or voice or noun case, something like that. So we're going to keep this at all morph text. This is where we select the corpus, or the range, I should say, to search. So here we're only looking at John in the NA 28th edition. So if you wanted this to be UBS 5th, you could type that in, and you could select. Either way, it's the same text. I usually just default to NA 28, but that's where you select, I should say, this is the corpus that you're searching. This is the range of that corpus, and then this, you don't need to worry too much about what that changes. But we've got all of this set in here for John. If you want to change this to Synoptic Gospels, here you go. Oops. Gospels. Matthew through Luke. That'll come in, or you can set your own range. If you wanted to do like, let's say for some reason you wanted to do Luke, Acts, and Hebrews. All right, then you could choose those. See, I've got, and I don't even know if you need semicolons here, but I've got those separated. I could choose that, and I could save that as a particular reference range. All right, so then I hit this arrow button, and now it's searching that. But we'll go back here to John, and let's say you wanted to find particular morphological data for a specific word. Like, say, let me get my Greek keyboard here, agapao. If you wanted to find this, it's very important to recognize the hits that come up here. So this, with the little circle here, this is going to indicate a lemma. The difference between agapao with the circle and agapao with this square root marker is that this is going to limit it to verbal entries, whereas this one is going to any root or any word that is related to the root of agapao, which would basically be agap. So nouns, adjectives, agapetos, agape, all of that would be included in the search. You can do either one. This will obviously give you fewer hits. And for your search, it doesn't really, I guess you could say, if you wanted to search for genitive participles, Logos lists participles under verbs rather than adjectives, so you would just, you could search either one here, but because the settings that we're going to choose for what to look for, the morphological data we want to find, will specify that. So you could select either one. Just know that the root symbol here will include entries other than the verb, and this circle symbol here, this includes just the verb. So we'll go ahead and select that. It says lemma agapao, that's what we want. And then the very next thing that we do is we type in the @ symbol. Okay, so this is the symbol we're going to use to tell Logos what morphological data we want to find for agapao. So since agapao is a verb, we're going to select verb, and then we can click if you want present tense, if you want middle voice, if you want indicative mood. You don't have to select all of these. If I click off of, well, if I click off of, okay, let me just hit the back space button and back out of here. If I just want middle, obviously these will be verbs if I'm clicking middle, but it could be any mood, any tense, whatever. I would just hit that middle, and it's going to show me all of the verbs. I should say it's going to show me every instance of agapao in John's Gospel that happens to be middle voice. All right, and there aren't any. There just aren't any middles of agapao in John's Gospel. All right, so let's back up our morphological tag here, and let's do instead verb, and we'll do imperative. And that's strange because I would think that there are imperatives of agapao, but here is every... Oh, okay, so here I've selected both imperative and indicative. Go ahead and take off the indicative. Redo that search. There we go. So this is every indicative form of agapao in John's Gospel. But in your question, you didn't specify a particular word or root. You may just want to find every instance of the indicative mood in John, no matter what the verb is. Well, in that case, you leave off the word part and you just start with that at symbol. And if you want to find every indicative, that's obviously going to be a verb. And then you don't need to worry about tense or voice because you're just looking for the mood, the indicative. And, you can select person if you want, but if you just want every indicative, you only select that, hit enter, and this will be every indicative verb in John's Gospel. If you wanted to do every genitive, it gets a little bit tricky because obviously genitive would apply to the article, the adjective, the noun, the pronoun, and the verb for participles. And unfortunately, there's no way to bypass this first part. You have to select one. So if you wanted genitives, I guess you just kind of have to start with whichever one you're most interested in, and then repeat that search for other forms. So for example, if I want to know every genitive, adjective, and noun, I guess I'll start with the adjectives, select genitive, and then hit enter. And these are all the genitive adjectives. Yeah, these are all adjectives here, it looks like. Actually, I'm not sure diabolos, I'm not sure that's a adjective, but maybe it's just become a substantival adjective. I don't know. So anyways, that will give you all the adjectives that are in the genitive, and then you could go back in, and now you can search for nouns that are in the genitive. Let's see if... Alright, so anyways, there we go. That's basically how you're going to do the search without a particular word, if you just want to find any word. So if you wanted to find every, let's say every present, middle, indicative, or maybe even instead of indicative, we'll do participle, in the genitive. There, we'll just combine all those categories. Let's see if we get any hits. Oh, of course not. So, there. If we take off genitive, we get 4 instances of a present middle participle in John's Gospel. So hopefully that helps. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks.